Right, let's get you into the mix for racing here on Heats Day. Here's your starting grid for GD Rotax Heat number 1. On the front row from pole position, it's going to be Latvia's Gustav Zusakovs, who pipped the Netherlands' Kasper Schormans by just 1/1000th. They line up on the front row. It's an all-JJ racing affair on row 2, with Croatia's Leon Zelenko and Germany's Austin Lee. Mikkel Pedersen and Alberto Kiko Fracassi round out the top 6 positions, with Enzo Bol, Dion van Verven, Tommy van der Stroys and Belgium's Bolouet rounding out the top 10. Georgios Kafantaris and Aaron Krepsik round out row 6 ahead of Leandro Fischer and Max Cuthbert. Scott Marsh and Maxim Sechurko, row 8. Row 9, Aljaz Vidmar and Martin Ernesto Varga, with Maximilian Schreier and Vic Stevens completing the top 20. Rounding out the 27 strong grid, it's Lotus Tveen, Tino Sidler, Sebastian Koch, Olivier Jonkers, Thomas Rudokas, Christoph Sala and Noah Janssen. The drivers now head onto their formation lap ahead of 7 minutes plus 1 lap of racing. And hello to Jen Wade, watching from Norway at the moment. Yeah, qualifying, quite interesting. It was actually quite dry, to be honest with you. But in the sessions earlier on in the day, we did have some rainfall. So we will find out how the drivers did find it a bit having to tread on like eggshells this morning, as early in the warm-up a couple of juniors did actually go off track. They weren't the only ones. We did have a couple of times where the whilst weaving, just keep it a bit calm, Bolouet. He nearly went off onto the grass on the formation lap coming out of turn number 11. With 27 junior Rotax drivers, this will set the initial tone for what we could expect over the course of the day. So now the rest of the drivers try and get themselves into position as they are in the 2x2 side-by-side formation. Out of turn number 14, the revs rise. They go into the tram lines. Here we go. Lights are out. We are underway. Good start from Schormans, who pushes Usakos, who gets back up the inside going into turns 2 and 3. And, very, very wide indeed through turn number 3, but Usakov keeps the lead. Austin Lee now up into second. Usakov drifts wide going through turn 4. Austin Lee ran the outside through turn 5, has to back out of it. Schorman sideways, keeps it under control. And Zelenko looks to go up the inside. Schreier's tangled with one of the drivers. We've got one already off, and someone's gone rally crossing. It's very, very dirty around the outside. Looks to be the 273 Max Cuthbert possibly that might have just gone off on the exit of turn number 6. Everyone is really, really struggling. Schorman's on the run of Ferry coming out of turn 10. Enzo Bol powers it round the outside in the Kart Republic chassis as Austin Lee leads the way in the wet. And great use of the curbing there by Leon Zelenko. Gets up the inside. Enzo Bol gets the run on him coming out of turn number 11 through into the final hairpin. And a little bit sideways, I think that might have been from Alberto Kiko Fracassi, the Italian, who looks to be down in around about 7th or 8th position. Austin Lee comes out of the final corner, leads after lap number 1. Second, it's Gustav Usakov, Zelenko, Bol, Schormans, Van Verven. Van der Stroy's now up into 7th. Pedersen down to 9th. So Max Cuthbert did go rally crossing, unfortunately. There was a turnaround through turn number 5 as we've got more dramas up at turn number 4. One driver was was up on the actual incline, and then all of a sudden was pointing the right direction but was not actually making any forward momentum as such. And it is really treacherous out there. These drivers are really having to negate the throttle manipulation. Enzo Bol through turn number 11 sends it up the inside of Leon Zelenko. Kasper Schormans is with them. That's the battle for P3. But Usakovs is trying to chase down Austin Lee for the race lead. Austin Lee's race lead last time around was just under 0.6 of a second out of turn number 14. As now, that's a bit brave from Leon Zelenko, keeping it hanging around the outside of turn number 14 on Kasper Schormans, and still stays in 4th position. But Enzo Bol on the move right now, but the gap between Usakovs and Bol is just over 2.1 seconds. A switchback between Zelenko and Schormans for P4 through turn number 4. But Austin Lee is starting to comfortably extend that gap, but it looks to be closing in the braking zones for turn number 6. Van der Stroys at the moment is on his way up the order. Now, Tommy van der Stroy started 9th. He's now up into 6th position. Christoph Sala looks to have been retired from the race, and a 5-second penalty has gone the way to Scott Marsh, the 222 from Great Britain, currently running in 16th position behind Boulouette. The main thing is that you've got to get yourselves through the heats, and then tomorrow is going to be a completely different atmosphere altogether. Austin Lee continues to lead after lap number 3. Pulls his gap to just over a second over Usakovs. Bol, Schormans, Zelenko, Van der Stroy side by side between Mikkel Pedersen and Maxim Sochurko running in P8. Great showing by the Lithuanian. Aaron Krepsik and Vic Stevens complete the top 10. Tino Sidler has made his way up to 20th position from 22nd. Still very much nip and tuck between Enzo Bol and Kasper Schormans in the battle for the 3rd position. Well past the halfway point, just 3 minutes and 3 minutes plus an additional lap, and we've had more dramas. Oh, right, 2.53 has been involved. That is Maximilian Schreier, as Schormans was looking up the inside there on Enzo Bol. Through turn 11, through turn 12, the Dutchman takes a tighter line, but great switchback anticipation there from Enzo Bol through turn number 12. Gets ahead of the 240 from JJ Racing, their line astern. Schorman's got to watch his proximity to the rear bumper, as Austin Lee has nearly a 1.5 second gap over Gustav Usakovs. But this battle for P3 really heating up. Schormans is trying to do everything to get past Enzo Bol, and Enzo Bol seems to have an answer every single time. And it was Olivier Jonkers that looks to have been collected in the incident with Maximilian Schreier, as they both tumble down the order. But still, Kasper Schormans, no matter what he does, no matter what he tries, Enzo Bol has a comfortable answer for it in these wet weather conditions. And Austin Lee in the first sector over Gustav Usakovs has pulled another 10th and a bit away from the Latvian. So this gap is edging ever so close towards 2 seconds advantage for the 272. So Tomas Rudokas, so the 2 Lithuanians on the grid. Rudokas started 25th on the grid. And now he's up into P11 and is about 1.1 seconds behind Vic Stevens from Belgium, who rounds out the top 10. And Austin Lee is lapping consistently. The last couple of laps, he was within 1/1000th of each lap, a 1 minute 6.361. The last time around, the previous time, take away 1/1000th. We're into the final 60 seconds as Schormans again tries to look up the inside, and that was through turn number 7 on Enzo Bol for that 3rd position. With this kind of weather conditions, the drivers are having to deal with the understeer of the karts and having to wrestle with it. They're going to be using alternative racing lines as opposed to the traditional ones. They're going ever so close to the white lines, which has caught people out through turn 11. We have seen that the barriers have had to be rearranged a couple of times because drivers have gone a bit too wide, and then one of the wheels has caught the dirt and it's flung the kart into the barriers. Now going on to the penultimate lap as Austin Lee crosses the stripe. His lead now over Gustav Usakovs is 2.1 seconds and climbing. Enzo Bol still with 2 laps to go. Holds on to that 3rd place position. Kasper Schormans is keeping him within the crosshairs. Leon Zelenko a little bit further adrift, about 1.5 seconds in 5th place. Then it's Tommy van der Stroy, Mikkel Pedersen, Maxim Sochurko, Aaron Krepsik and Vic Stevens. Leandro Fischer has dropped down to 19th position with Lotus Tween, Tino Sidler and Georgios Kafantaris all going ahead of the German. Scott Marsh currently running in 14th with the 5-second time penalty. He will end up in 15th position because the gap between Alberto Kiko Fracassi and Lotus Tveen, who were in 15th and 16th position, is well over 7.2 seconds. Timer has expired. This time around, last lap board is now brandished, and Austin Lee will see it first. Here comes the 272 from Germany across the line. Just over 1,200 metres to negotiate. Osakov is now nearly 2.5 seconds behind Enzo Boll in third place. Kasper Schurman's Leon Zelenko. Schurman still trying to get that position in terms of third place, but the gap has extended between the pair. Leon Zelenko, Tommy van der Stroy having done a good job to get up the order from 9th to 6th place. Olivier Jonkers retired after the incident with Maximilian Schreier, who will round out the top 24. But Austin Lee makes his way through turns 9 and 10 for the final time of asking around this 1,222 metre circuit. Austin Lee was on the outside of row number 2 when the race kick-started things off over 8.5 minutes ago. So 2 more turns for Germany's Austin Lee in the 272. Chronic understeer going through turn 13, but he gets it all through the final corner. Austin Lee takes heat 1 in junior Rotax, followed by Gustav Zusakos, and the gap between them just under 2.5 seconds. Enzo Boll pipping Kasper Schurmans to the line by just over 4 tenths. Leon Zelenko, a solid 5th position for the Croatian, who started on the inside of row number 2. Tommy van der Stroy from 9th to 6th ahead of Mikkel Pedersen. Maxim Stachurko, Aaron Krepsik, Vic Stevens completing the top 10. As we wait for the last few drivers to make their way across the line, had a little bit of a punch in the air. I'm not too sure who that was. That might have been possibly Martin Ernesto Varga. I couldn't really make it out because the spray is so big with the rooster tails coming off from the rear tyres. But Austin Lee takes junior Rotax heat number 1. Let's have a look at the remainder of the results from 11th downwards, as Tomas Rudokas from Lithuania makes it into P11 from 25th on the grid. A great drive from the youngster in the 226, followed by Boluet, Dion van Werven, Scott Marsh, Alberto Kiko Fracassi and Tino Sidler rounding out the top 16 positions. Georgios Kafantaris, Lotus Tveen, Noah Janssen, Max Cuthbert, Maximilian Schreier, Aljas Vidmar, Sebastian Koch, Jan Fischer and Martin Ernesto Varga round out the 25 strong. Christoph Saller was a non-starter, and Olivier Jonkers, unfortunately, retired with 5 laps still to go.